Welcome back. You know, the sudden loss of our friend and colleague Eric Paulson has been a tough one for so many of us to deal with. So many of you who knew and loved him just the same. And this morning we are having, someone in who's going to talk about the process of grief and how to handle that in a healthy way. And I think it's a good conversation. Dr. Eileen Palace here. Not just a good conversation, but it's a good one to have with the viewers too, because all of us need to figure out the best way to handle this.
Been through so much, the loss of our dear friend. I mean, the WWL family, obviously his own family, the entire community, and I think it's really important. Now is a good time to talk about processing grief.
Yeah, we're happy you're here.
Thank you.
And we have a couple minutes to really dive into something we could spend hours talking about.
Yes.
But there are 8 steps that you want to highlight for people to process.
There are. First, I wanted to talk about you need to at least acknowledge, accept, and tolerate grief. It can be very different, many things. It could be anger, sadness, cheeriness, irritability, but you need to recognize your feelings are valid and they're real. Don't try and stuff them away. It's an adaptive emotion meant to protect you from knowing that this is something you've lost that you love.
And I think we've done the next step pretty well this week, at least
You guys have been terrific.
Spending time reminiscing.
The next one is spending time with people that love them, that reminisce with, and you guys have done such a good job of that, because when you have people around you, it helps you remember you're not alone, that you are part of a community, and that person is still there in that community in the hearts and souls of all of them.
Yeah, I think for me, typically, personally, I deal with grief. I've noticed, compared to this, I shut down, I isolate. I've never had to be so public about my grief. And it's been extremely healing. Wow, to bring in other people and share those memories. And then using methods to process, to allow grief
because
to
if you stuff this away, which a lot of people are tempted to do with negative feelings, it's going to cause not only psychological worse, it escalates, but it's also going to cause physiological problems, asthma, ulcers, etc. You want to process this through. So use psychological techniques that we do. Mindfulness techniques, diaphragmatic breathing, relaxation, hypnosis, meditation. I could go on. Walking outside, but you have to do some of these things to help give yourself some time to really process it through.
Walking outside's a good one for me. Just a way to get that built-up energy out.
Very good. Data says it's great.
I love that. Okay, so find activities or things that are meaningful to celebrate and remember the person.
You guys have done a good job on that too.
Lots of music.
Pick something symbolic that you like to do. I think the parade we're talking about is a good example of that, and so was the second line was beautiful, perfect. Do something, but people also like to maybe wear a piece of jewelry. Sometimes they make a journal, donate to their favorite causes, an animal organization or music organization. Do something, plant a tree is a popular one. They watch the tree grow. Something that you have a constant memory of that person with you.
Yeah, connection, and I'll throw that in. Donating, if you'd like to. Eric was hoping everyone would donate to the Ella Project or Roots of Music. And then gather, around people to support and listen and
people
talk.
that really know how to listen, which is not automatically a given.
So that's a key point.
We are social creatures, and we need nurturing, love, acceptance, empathy in order to flourish. And some people are very well-meaning, but they're not really so good at it. And you get the, it's all for the best kind of comment, because they're very uncomfortable with negative, what they consider negative emotions. And so they want to hide from it instead of process it. So find those people who can listen and will listen unconditionally for as long as you need them to listen.
And while you're listening, you can celebrate their life. That's step number 6.
That's one of the newest things people are doing now, and you guys who did that have done that too. Is to really celebrate.
I highly recommend.
Really, see, it works. Celebrate all the wonderful things. It's the reason that you're grieving them in the first place, and I'm happy they made you and are making the rest of the world. Yeah,
and then number 7, you want to listen to your own needs.
You need to listen to your own needs, and people feel like, oh, I'm being selfish, or I shouldn't be thinking about myself right now, but in fact, you have to. This is a very stressful period of time. It's an emotional injury. We think of physical injury. We forget about emotional injury. You have to think about making sure you get some sleep, making sure you're eating, making sure you're taking care of yourself, taking some quiet time to process this. You need to take care of your own needs in order to heal a very real emotional injury.
And I love this last one. Number 8 is just that there's no deadline.
Grief has no deadline.
We forget that.
Yeah, it's going to go on in its own course, in its own way. There's nothing wrong with you. It's perfectly normal. You're not alone. It's going to get sometimes very upset and very sad, and then, you know, I've watched you guys. It just hits, and you don't see it coming.
I told everyone it comes in waves.
It comes in waves, and it will continue to do so. So don't expect that just all of a sudden you'll feel better for maybe a few months of it, but come back. It's okay. That's part of your body processing this grieving that you're doing as you're doing emotional healing. So allow it to take its own course and recognize that eventually it won't go away. It doesn't go away, but eventually it'll find a home, a place where you can put it in your life that's part of your own growth and development, and you feel comfortable knowing that it's there.
Gosh, that was beautiful, and this has been healing. Thank you so much for coming in and talking with all of us through this. For more information on dealing with depression or mood disorders, you can get in contact with Dr. Palace. Her website is drEileenPalace.com. We have the link on our website. Make it easy for you. Thanks again.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, let's get a check on that forecast page.